Ladies and gentlemen, a new snapshot for Minecraft Java Edition 1.16, the Nether update, has been released. This is 20w09a, bringing with it Crying Obsidian blocks, target blocks, and a brand new Zombified piglin model and texture. My name is slicedlime, I'm here to guide you through all of the changes in this version. Let's get into it, starting with blocks and items. There's a new Crying Obsidian block. It is just as hard and blast-proof as obsidian, but it can currently be moved by pistons. Crying obsidian blocks will at random times generate some purple particles, and they give off light at level 10. For now, they are decorative only, you cannot use them for anything that includes making nether portals. Another new block has been added, that is the target block. Target block is crafted from hay and redstone dust, and it is a redstone component. More specifically, when hit by a projectile it will generate a redstone pulse, and that redstone pulse will be stronger the closer to the center of the face that the projectile hit. It reacts to many different projectiles, but any type of projectile that will stick in the block, that is an arrow or a trident or such, will produce a 1-second signal, and the other projectiles will produce shorter signals. Some block changes have been done to previously added blocks as well. The crimson and warped fungi blocks are now called crimson and warped fungus blocks. Breaking any type of blocks made out of crimson or warped wood-like material, that is, the blocks made from those, is now faster if you use an axe. Breaking soul soil is now quicker when done with a shovel, and breaking nether wart blocks and warped wart blocks is now quicker when done using a hoe. Crimson and warped roots and fungi can now be placed into pots. Huge fungi will now only grow when it is on top of its matching type of nylium. They would also sometimes replace blocks as they grew, that is fixed in this version. This also fixes a bug where previously they would generate at the lowest nylium block in a column, not the one that the fungus was on. And nylium blocks themselves, when covered with a solid block, will eventually turn into netherrack, just like grass will eventually turn into dirt. Finally, nether sprouts didn't break when they lost their supporting block, that has been fixed in this version. Let's move on to mobs, because zombie pigmen have now been renamed and redone. They are now known as Zombified piglins, they have a new model and a new texture. Other than that, they still work just as they used to. Non-zombified piglins have been tweaked and fixed a whole bunch as well. Let's start with their Bartering Loot, which now has as very common results 6 to 10 shroom lights, 1 to 5 fire charges, 8 to 16 gravel blocks, 4 to 10 pieces of leather, 4 to 10 warped fungi, 4 to 16 nether bricks, 1 obsidian block, or 1 to 3 crying obsidian blocks. About half as common, we have 8 to 16 quartz, 5 to 12 glowstone dust, 2 to 6 magma creams, 4 to 8 ender pearls, and 8 to 24 strings. Even more rarely, you can get 1 warped nylium block, 1 potion of fire resistance, or 1 splash potion of fire resistance. And very rarely, you can also get 1 netherite hoe. A bunch of bugs regarding piglins and bartering have been fixed as well. One that will be of note to many of you who have looked at some videos by other content creators lately. Piglins would instantly barter an item and then admire a gold ingot, and that gold ingot would drop when it was killed. That has been fixed. In this version, piglins will only throw their barter item when they have finished inspecting their gold ingot. Piglins would rather hold a gold item than a crossbow, that's been fixed too in this version. Some piglins got left-handed and then didn't look at gold ingots in their right hand, that is fixed in this version. And piglins would also drop 2 shields when killed while holding one in their offhand. In terms of their other behavior, piglins will now attack wither skeletons even when they're not in a group, and the piglins will now become persistent only when named or when they pick up equipment that they decide to keep, just like other mobs. Baby hoglins and baby piglins didn't play with each other properly in the previous version, they do in this one. Hoglins now also spawn more frequently in Crimson Forest, about twice as frequently as they did before. There were bugs with hoglins as well. They had a walking sound that had a subtitle, which was "Hoglin dies," instead of the footstep subtitle. Hoglins now also become persistent only when bred, not when they see any player. Skeleton horses couldn't be leashed, that has been fixed in this version. Let's talk about world generation. Soul Sand Valley fossils generated in weird places, and they would generate in a duplicated or stacked manner. That has been fixed in this version, and that also fixes them floating around in the sky in buffet worlds. There was also a problem with the cave generator that wouldn't cut through nylium, which meant that you got a bunch of floating nylium in the nether. That is fixed in this version. Let's talk about gameplay, and let's start with a recipe fix. Crimson and warped signs can now be crafted, and the recipes look just like you would expect. There's a new advancement in this version. It is Bullseye for hitting the center of a target block. Entities will now get pushed by flowing lava, just like they do by flowing water. Weeping vines are now climbable, and another climbing related fix: fall damage death messages didn't properly show the block that the player fell from. That has been fixed in this version. When exiting a minecart or a boat, then you could sometimes clip through the ground. That bug has been fixed in this version. The recipe for stained glass panes would unlock when you got a clear glass block, not when you got a stained glass block. That has been fixed in this version as well. And a bunch of fixes have been done to fire spreading to ensure that fire on soul soil is now soul fire. Visual fixes in this version. The biome fog color will now smoothly blend between biomes as you move around. The ambient block shading in the Nether has been changed. This will eventually lead to the different editions of Minecraft looking more alike. Top texture of stripped stems didn't match the normal textures. That has been fixed in this version. And the top texture of the purple pillar blocks hadn't changed with the texture update that has been updated now. If you viewed yourself in third-person mode, you had a cape and you started crouching while you were wearing a chest plate, then the cape would render incorrectly. That has been fixed in this version. The bottom polygons of pots with plants in them would be invisible. That has been fixed in this version. And the hoglins had an inconsistent pixel on their texture. A bunch of tool textures have also had a few pixels changed. Let's talk about sound changes in this version. The nether portal trigger and travel sounds didn't adjust according to any of the sliders in the sound settings. That has been fixed in this version. The portal sounds are now part of the ambient category. Continuing on that track, the sound of shearing a sheep was in the friendly creatures category. That has now been moved, so the shearing sound is in the player category if the shearing is done by a player, and in the blocks category if the shearing is done by a dispenser block. The soul sand and soul soil block sounds had vanished. They are now back in this version. And the baby piglins now have a high-pitched sound when they zombify. Piglins and hardness also played duplicate sounds on top of each other when they took damage. That has been fixed in this version. Finally, let's talk about technical changes in this version, but let's stay with the sound theme. In previous versions, looping sounds that had the streaming property set on them didn't loop properly. That has been fixed in this version. And staying with the resource pack theme, the zombie pigmen texture is now gone. There's a new texture if you want to retexture the zombie piglins that is inside of the piglin folder, and the texture is called Zombified_piglin. There's a new advancement trigger type in this version. It is called target_hit, and it has one condition for it. It's signal strength, and that is a value or a value range reflecting what the output was from the target hit. There are 3 new particle types in this version. They are dripping obsidian tear, falling obsidian tear, and landing obsidian tear. Piglins now have a new data field. It is immune to zombification, and when that is set, it prevents the piglin from zombifying when in the overworld. There's a new block tag in this version. It is called climbable. Any block added to this tag works just like other climbable blocks like ladders or vines or scaffoldings. There's a new entity tag as well. It is impact_projectiles. Projectiles added to this tag will cause impact damage to blocks, for instance, popping off chorus fruit flowers. And finally, there was a bug with set block where if you set block soul fire in the air, it didn't disappear while normal fire would. That is fixed in this version. And those are all the changes in this snapshot. As usual, snapshots are testing versions and are as such more unstable and riskier to run. If you want to run this version, do so on a separate test world or on a backup of your world. If you want to try it out but you don't know how to, then please click on the card on the video right now or check the video description. There's a link there to a tutorial video that will show how to get and play the latest Minecraft snapshot. And that was all from me for this time. I hope you found this update video useful, and if you did, please help me out in return, leave a like and share it with your friends. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest Minecraft news, then please subscribe to this channel, where I do update videos for every new snapshot, pre-release or release of Minecraft. And don't forget to hit the bell icon, select all to get notified when the videos are out. My name is slicedlime, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.